You can't face this battle alone. God is with you. Every person, at some point in life, feels the weight of challenges so heavy that it seems impossible to carry them. The nights are long, filled with restless thoughts, and the days feel like endless storms. There are moments when we wonder if we will ever make it to the other side, if we will ever see light after so much darkness. But in these moments of fear and exhaustion, we are not abandoned. There is a strength greater than us, a presence that does not leave us, even when we stumble, even when we break. That presence is God, and His closeness in the middle of the struggle is what makes the impossible possible. Before we continue, I want you to stay with me until the end of this video, because there is something important waiting for you. Right here, in this moment, I invite you to write in the comments your warmest wishes and the number 77. This is not just a simple act, it is a declaration. When you write your wishes, you release them into the universe, and you align yourself with the energy of faith and possibility. Writing 77 is a sign of agreement, of completeness, of stepping into the flow where your desires can manifest. Do this once, and let it be the seed of energy that connects you with what is meant for you. Now let us continue. When life feels unbearable, it is easy to believe that you are alone. You might feel misunderstood, unsupported, or unseen by the people around you. But there is a silent truth. God is not absent in your battle. In fact, the very weight you feel, the very tears you cry, are known by Him more deeply than anyone else could ever understand. Sometimes the battle itself is not punishment. It is preparation. It is the training ground for your spirit, shaping you into someone who can withstand storms that others cannot. This shaping hurts. Growth often does. But while you are being stretched, God is also holding you. Think about how a soldier enters a battlefield. Alone, the soldier would have little chance of survival. But with an army behind them, with strategy, with unseen guidance, the soldier gains confidence. In the same way, you are not walking into your struggle unarmed. You are walking with God's presence, and that means your defeat is not written into the story. The fact that you are still standing, despite what has tried to crush you, is proof that there is something stronger working in your favor. Some battles are internal, the quiet wars of the mind, where doubt, fear, and anxiety whisper louder than truth. Others are external, the pressures of life, responsibilities, losses, and betrayals that weigh heavily on your heart. But no matter the form of the battle, the truth is the same. You were never meant to fight it on your own. The strength of the human heart is powerful, but it was never designed to carry everything without help. The divine was always meant to fill in the gaps, to be the force that sustains you when your energy runs out. There are seasons when the battle drags on longer than expected, and you start to wonder if victory will ever come. You try everything in your power. You work harder, you fight harder, you sacrifice more, yet the storm doesn't seem to end. In those times, it is not weakness to let go of control. It is wisdom. It is surrender. Not the kind of surrender that gives up, but the kind that trusts that even when you cannot see the way is still being made. God is still moving on your behalf, orchestrating outcomes you could never arrange on your own. The silence of the waiting period can be the hardest test of all. Waiting without knowing when the answer will come. Waiting without seeing results. Waiting while the pain continues. But the silence is not abandonment. Sometimes the silence is protection. Sometimes it is the space needed for you to discover resilience, for your spirit to grow into its full capacity. And sometimes the silence is the calm before a breakthrough so powerful that it will make every tear worth it. In those quiet moments, when you feel you have nothing left, remind yourself, you are not fighting alone. God is in the silence with you, carrying the weight you cannot carry. The battle can make you feel small, powerless and fragile. But what you cannot see in the moment is that every battle you endure is enlarging your spirit. You are being expanded, not destroyed. What feels like breaking is often remaking. The cracks in your life let light in, and through that light, you see that your story is not over. The battle is not your ending, it is the path to your transformation. Every scar you carry will one day become a testimony of survival, proof that you faced storms you thought would drown you, and you did not drown. You endured because you were never truly alone. You can't face this battle alone. God is with you. The more you reflect on that truth, the more it begins to sink into your heart. It's not just a comforting phrase to repeat in hard times. It is the very reality of your existence. Every breath you take is accompanied by a presence that is guiding, protecting, and strengthening you. Even when you are not aware of it, even when you doubt it, even when you question everything, that presence is unshaken. God is not moved by your doubts. He is not frightened by your tears. He remains steady when everything else around you shakes. There are times when the battle pushes you to your knees. It feels like life has knocked the air out of your lungs, and you can't find the strength to rise again. But perhaps being on your knees is not defeat. It is positioning. Because from that place of humility, you become most aware of your dependence on something greater than yourself. You discover that your own strength is limited, but divine strength is limitless. What you cannot carry, what you cannot fix, what you cannot understand, can still be handled. The burden is not yours to drag alone. It is shared by the one who has never abandoned you. Imagine the storms of your life like waves crashing against a rock. Each wave may be powerful, forceful, and unrelenting, but the rock stands firm, unmoved by the chaos around it. That rock is the steady hand of God in your battle. You may feel shaken, you may feel tired, but you are anchored to something unbreakable. The waves may roar, but they cannot destroy what is held steady by an unshakable foundation. Many times, the enemy of your soul tries to convince you that the struggle defines you. The voice of fear whispers that because you are in pain, you are weak, that because you feel lost, you are broken, that because you've failed before, you will always fail. But these are lies. The truth is that battles do not define you. How you endure them does. And when you are enduring with the strength of God beside you, you are not defeated. You are being refined, shaped into someone stronger than before. What you once thought would break you becomes the very thing that proves your resilience. The beauty of being human is not found in perfection, but in persistence. And persistence is only possible because you are not walking alone. Every step you take in the middle of struggle is noticed. Every moment you choose to keep going, even when the weight feels unbearable, is recorded in the story of your growth. Your struggle may not make sense now, but one day you will look back and see how every piece fit together. What felt like chaos will be revealed as preparation. What felt like abandonment will be revealed as guidance. What felt like the end will be revealed as a beginning. Sometimes, the people around you cannot understand the battle you are in. They cannot feel the depth of your pain, and they cannot see the hidden scars of your struggle. And in those moments, you may feel invisible. But you are not invisible to God. Every silent tear is seen. Every thought you cannot even put into words is understood. Every cry for help, even the ones you never say out loud, is heard. And the response is always the same. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. There is also something sacred about struggle. It reveals what truly matters. When everything is stripped away, when life is reduced to the core, you discover the strength of your spirit. You realize that material things, fleeting pleasures, or the approval of others cannot sustain you. It is only the unseen, the eternal, the divine presence that can truly carry you through. Struggle becomes a teacher, revealing the false foundations you once leaned on, and leading you back to what has always been solid and real. And though the battle is painful, though it sometimes feels endless, know that it has a limit. No storm lasts forever. No night continues without morning. Every season eventually gives way to the next. Your battle will not be eternal, even if it feels that way now. There will be a breakthrough. There will be a turning point. There will be a moment when the darkness lifts, and you will realize that you survived something that once felt impossible. And when that moment comes, it will not just be survival, it will be transformation. You will not come out the same. You will come out stronger, wiser, and more deeply connected to the one who walked with you through the storm. You can't face this battle alone. God is with you. The truth of this is often clearest in hindsight. Looking back, you can recall moments when you thought it was over, when you thought you couldn't make it another day. And yet, somehow, you did. Somehow, you found the strength to keep breathing, to keep moving, to keep living. That somehow was never random. It was the evidence of divine presence at work in your life, carrying you even when you didn't realize it. The reason you're here right now, the reason you're still standing, is because God was with you in battles you thought would destroy you. There's a deep mystery in struggle. Often, we want life to be straightforward, free of pain, free of resistance. But the reality is that struggle shapes us in ways comfort never could. Struggle sharpens the edges of our character. It deepens our capacity for compassion. It teaches us patience and resilience. And though we do not welcome the battle, it becomes the very soil in which strength grows. If you never faced resistance, you would never know the full depth of your own endurance. If you never walk through fire, you would never know how much you can survive. And if you never felt utterly weak, you would never know the unshakable power of God's strength carrying you. Every battle you face, visible or invisible, leaves an imprint on your spirit. Some scars are physical, some are emotional, some are so hidden that only you and God know they exist. But scars are not signs of defeat, they are signs of survival. They are reminders that you went through something that should have broken you, but it didn't. They remind you that even when everything tried to silence your voice, you found a way to keep speaking. Even when everything tried to paralyze you with fear, you found a way to take another step. Even when the weight was crushing, you were not crushed. That resilience, that survival, is not just you. It is God in you. Many battles in life are not won quickly. They require endurance, persistence, and a long vision. And in those seasons, it can be tempting to believe that if you haven't won yet, you never will. But that is not the truth. Some victories take longer because they are not only about the outcome, they are about the process. They are about who you are becoming as you endure. They are about the strength you are discovering in yourself and the faith you are cultivating as you lean on something greater than your own understanding. The delay is not denial, it is transformation. The waiting is not wasted, it is preparation. Think about how seeds grow. When you plant a seed in the soil, it looks like nothing is happening. Days go by, then weeks, and still nothing visible breaks through the ground. But under the surface, in the unseen, life is taking root. Growth is happening in silence, in darkness, in the hidden places. And then one day, what was invisible becomes visible, and the seed pushes through the soil into the light. Your battle is like that. What feels invisible and hidden is not wasted. It is growth taking place where you cannot yet see. And when the time is right, the breakthrough will come. Sometimes, your greatest battles happen inside your mind. Doubt creeps in, whispering that you are not strong enough, that you are destined to fail, that you are unworthy of victory. Fear tries to convince you that the future will be worse than the present. Shame tells you that your past disqualifies you from hope. These inner battles can feel more overwhelming than any external storm. But here is the truth. Those thoughts are not final. They are not stronger than the voice of God reminding you that you are not alone. They are not stronger than the presence that surrounds you, even when your own mind feels like a battlefield. And when you feel like your thoughts are against you, remember that you are not defined by them. You are defined by the one who walks with you. Even in your loneliest moments, you are not forsaken. Even when no one else knows the depth of your struggle, you are never unseen. This truth is not meant to dismiss your pain, but to remind you that pain is not the end of your story. The battle is not the conclusion. It is a chapter. And chapters are meant to be turned. What feels permanent now will not last forever. The heaviness you feel, the exhaustion, the uncertainty, they are temporary. And while you wait for the storm to pass, you are being held in hands stronger than any storm could ever be. So when you feel like giving up, when you feel like the battle is too much, remember this: you were never meant to fight alone. From the very beginning, God's presence has been woven into your story. From the first breath you took, you have been accompanied. And though battles rage, though storms rise, though shadows fall, the truth remains unshaken. You are not alone. You are not abandoned. You are not powerless. You are carried. And being carried means that even when you feel like you can't take another step, you are still moving forward, still making progress, still alive in the fight. You can't face this battle alone. God is with you. When the pressure mounts and your mind starts racing through worst-case scenarios, remind yourself that presence is greater than pressure. The weight you feel is real, but so is the one who stands with you beneath it. Many people mistake the absence of instant relief for the absence of companionship. But companionship is not measured by how quickly storms pass. It's measured by who remains when the sky is dark. The measure of your life right now is not speed, not perfection, not constant victories. The measure is the steadiness of steps taken with an unseen hand beside you. There is a difference between isolation and solitude. Isolation is being cut off and closed in. Solitude is being covered. Isolation tells you that you're forgotten. Solitude tells you that you're being formed. When the battle forces a quiet around you, choose to hear solitude's message. In that quiet, you can sort the voices that scream and the ones that guide. Not every voice in your head deserves a microphone. Some are echoes of old wounds, others are predictions that never happened, and a few are the tender directions that nudge you toward courage. Turn the dial. Choose the channel that says you are accompanied, not abandoned. Every battle has a rhythm, and learning it keeps you from wasting your strength. There are advances and retreats, days to push and days to pause. You are not failing when you pause, you are fueling. Think of breath. Inhale, exhale. No one calls exhaling a retreat. It is part of the same life-giving cycle. Your rest is not a reward for winning later. It is a weapon for winning now. Rest clears the fog, sharpens your awareness, and reminds your nervous heart that it does not carry the world. You were never appointed to be the entire solution. You were invited to walk with the one who already sees it finished. You will notice the battle becomes heavier whenever you agree with the harshest narrator of your story. If the narrator says you are alone, then every event becomes proof of loneliness. If the narrator says you are carried, then the very same events become markers of help. Change the narrator. Speak from the vantage point of being accompanied. Say, I am in a hard place, but I am not in it alone. I am in a storm, but I am not steering by myself. I am in a valley, but I am not walking without light. This shift does not erase the mountain. It changes the muscles you use to climb. There is also a discipline of small, faithful actions that keeps you available to strength beyond your own. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do in a battle is to stand up, drink water, open a window, let daylight hit your eyes, take 3 slow breaths, and do the next right thing within reach. These are not trivial tasks. They are anchors. They announce to your body and your mind that you are still here, still choosing, still aligning with the presence that sustains you. The grand moments of victory are composed of these quiet choices. Courage is not a mood. Courage is a series of tiny agreements with the truth. You may wonder why help arrives in such ordinary wrapping. A friend texts at the exact moment you were breaking. A stranger smiles, and you feel less invisible. A memory surfaces with an instruction you needed. The timing is too precise to be coincidence. This is how accompaniment often looks. Natural on the surface, miraculous in the timing. The chessboard is larger than we see. While you focus on one square, the pressing problem, moves are being made on your behalf across the board. What appears delayed is being aligned. What feels denied is being refined. What seems random is being woven. When fear spikes, it tries to convince you that certainty is the only cure. But certainty is a fragile god. It shatters at the first unexpected turn. What steadies you is not certainty about outcomes. It is trust about presence. You might not know how the path bends 2 turns ahead, but you can know whose footsteps you hear beside yours right now. That is enough light for the next step. Think of a lantern carried through the night. It doesn't illuminate the whole forest, but it keeps the path in front of you visible. Walk by that light. Let tomorrow be tomorrow. Steward the step you can take today. The voice of shame will visit you in battles, pointing at past decisions and current weaknesses as proof that you deserve the struggle. Do not sign for that package. It is not yours. Regret can be a teacher, but shame is a thief. Regret says, learn and move. Shame says, stop and hide. You learn and you move. You may feel slower than others. You may feel late, but there is a unique timing on your life that does not consult comparisons to validate your path. Comparing your process to someone else's highlight reel is like judging a house by another's blueprint. Your rooms are different because your purpose is different. You are also allowed to ask for help. Asking for help is not proof of weakness. It is proof of wisdom. If you were meant to do this alone, you would have been placed on an empty planet. Instead, help often arrives as people, imperfect, busy, sometimes unsure people, who nevertheless carry pieces of the answer. Let them carry a corner of your load. Tell the truth to a safe person. Receive guidance from those who have walked a bit further. You are still brave when you lean. You are still strong when you share the weight. Strength hoarded becomes brittle. Strength shared becomes durable. Notice how, during the battle, your attention narrows to what is urgent and loud. Gently widen it. Remember, there is more to you than this moment. There were days before this, and there will be days after this. Revisit memories where you survived what once felt unsurvivable. Not to live in the past, but to borrow evidence. You have been held before. You are being held now. Put that evidence where you can see it. A sentence on a note, a symbol on your desk, a phrase you speak out loud. Let your environment become a silent coach, reminding you of truths Your emotions sometimes misplace. There will be mornings when courage feels impossible. On those mornings, scale your hope to the smallest actionable form. Not conquer the mountain, but put on shoes. Not solve the whole problem, but make one call, send one email, take one step. Momentum dresses like smallness at first. There will be afternoons when fatigue makes you question everything. On those afternoons, step away for 5 minutes. Breathe, stretch, change rooms if you can. There will be evenings when the silence grows heavy. On those evenings, choose one simple ritual: light, music, a warm drink, a brief reflection, and let it mark the boundary between the day you carried and the night that will carry you. You might ask, what if I fail again? Then you rise again. Falling is an event. Rising is an identity. Each time you get up, you reinforce the truth that you are not fighting alone. If you were alone, you would have stayed down. Something, or rather someone, keeps pulling you toward life. This pull is quiet, but persistent. It meets you at the limits of your strength and lends you enough for one more try. Do not despise the day of small increments. The ladder out of deep pits rarely appears as an elevator. It usually appears as one rung, then another, then another. When the victory comes, and it will, practice aftercare. Tired warriors sometimes move straight from battle to the next task without acknowledging what they've been through. Mark it. Breathe into the relief. Name what you learned. Thank the people who helped you. Care for your scars. Scars do not disqualify you, they credential you. They certify that you faced heat and did not melt, that you encountered opposition and did not vanish. Treat your story with honor. Someone, somewhere, will need the map you are drawing with your endurance. If the battle persists longer than you expected, do not let the timeline become a tyrant. Timelines are tools, not masters. You can revise them without surrendering the goal. Progress measured honestly is better than progress performed for appearances. You are not behind. You are exactly where your lessons are. The path may curve, but curves are part of roads that lead somewhere. Straight lines are for rulers and drawings. Journeys require turns. Trust the turns. Remember, too, that joy is not postponed until the war is over. Joy is oxygen you can take even while marching. It is the laughter that returns unexpectedly, the beauty that interrupts a hard afternoon, the tiny gratitude that lifts the corners of your mouth for no grand reason. Let joy visit. Let it sit with you without guilt. Joy doesn't deny the battle, it denies the battle the right to define every moment of your life. You can't face this battle alone. God is with you. Say it quietly when the room is still. Say it firmly when doubt raises its voice. Say it gently when you need comfort, and boldly when you need strength. Make it the sentence that frames your day. It is not a slogan, it is the architecture under your feet. Let this be the way you step, the way you pause, the way you begin again. Not alone. Never alone. Accompanied, carried, guided, through the valley, up the ridge, across the finish that you cannot yet see but are steadily approaching, one faithful step at a time. You can't face this battle alone. God is with you. When your heart feels weary, when your hands feel empty, and when your mind feels crowded with fear, it is natural to wonder how much longer you can endure. But endurance is not measured in endless reserves of energy. Endurance is measured in the willingness to take the next step, even when you feel drained. And the reason you can take that step is because you are not taking it by yourself. You are sustained by a strength that does not run out, a presence that does not abandon, and a love that does not grow tired. Battles often feel like contradictions. On one hand, You are hurting, doubting, and stretched thin. On the other hand, you are being shaped, refined, and strengthened in ways that are invisible now but will be undeniable later. Both can be true at the same time. You can be in pain and still be growing. You can feel lost and still be guided. You can be tired and still be carried. The contradiction is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that transformation is happening beneath the surface. Think about the seasons of nature. Winter looks barren and silent, but beneath the frozen ground, roots are alive and storing energy for spring. Autumn looks like loss as leaves fall, but it is also renewal, clearing space for new growth. In the same way, the battle you are facing may look like loss, silence, or barrenness, but something unseen is happening beneath the surface. You are being rooted deeper. You are storing strength. You are being prepared for a new season. Do not judge the whole story by the current chapter. It is not the final one. The human tendency is to resist hardship, to want it to end quickly. But when you look back on the hardest seasons of your life, you will see that they were the ones that changed you most deeply. Ease rarely shapes us the way difficulty does. Struggle creates perspective. It softens us where we were hard. It strengthens us where we were fragile. And it opens our eyes to what truly matters. The very thing you despise now may become the reason you are able to guide someone else later. Your scars become maps for others. Your survival becomes a beacon for those who think they cannot endure. And that is part of the mystery of why you do not face your battles alone. You are not only being carried, you are being equipped to carry others when their time comes. The loneliness of the struggle is real. There are moments when it feels like no one truly understands the depths of your fight. People may offer advice, encouragement, or even judgment, but deep down you know they cannot feel exactly what you feel. And yet, you are never unseen. To be fully seen in your pain and still fully accompanied is a comfort greater than words. That is what it means to never be alone in battle. You are not fighting in silence. Every cry, every sigh, every hidden ache is heard, understood, and held. There will be nights when exhaustion overwhelms you, when sleep does not come easily, and when thoughts replay endlessly in your mind. Those are the moments when surrender is the only way forward. Not surrender as defeat, but surrender as release. You do not have to control every outcome. You do not have to predict every possibility. You do not have to win the entire war in one night. Your task is simply to let go enough to rest, to breathe, to trust that while you close your eyes, you are still being carried. The world does not collapse when you stop for a moment. The same presence that holds the universe holds you. Courage does not always roar. Sometimes courage whispers, "I will try again tomorrow." Sometimes it is nothing more than the decision to get out of bed, to face the day, to keep going, even without the assurance of how it will all unfold. That kind of quiet courage is not small. It is immense. It is the evidence of partnership, because you are drawing from strength beyond yourself. Left alone, you would have quit already. But you are not alone, and so you rise again, even in the smallest ways. It is important to remember that battles are not just about survival. They are about transformation. The battle changes you, yes, but the presence with you ensures it changes you for the better. Without guidance, battles can harden the heart, fill it with bitterness, or drain it of hope. But with companionship, battles soften the heart, deepen compassion, expand faith, and awaken resilience. The same storm that drowns some will teach others to sail, and the difference is not the storm itself. It is who is with you in the boat. There is also a hidden strength in simply staying. When you choose not to run from the discomfort, not to numb yourself with distractions, but to remain in the process, you discover resilience you never knew existed. Staying is not passive, it is powerful. Staying says, I will not give up, even if I don't yet see the outcome. Staying allows time for unseen forces to work, for breakthroughs to unfold, for healing to take root. Patience is not weakness, it is power under control. And when you stay, you realize you are not the only one staying. You are accompanied by a presence that never leaves. You can't face this battle alone. God is with you. This truth does not mean the battle won't be hard, or that you won't have moments of doubt, pain, or fear. It means that in every single one of those moments, you are not abandoned. It means that what feels unbearable is bearable, because you are sustained by more than your own strength. It means that what looks like the end can still open into a new beginning, and it means that no matter how fierce the storm, you are not facing it in isolation. You are walking with the one who never leaves. You can't face this battle alone. God is with you. And yet, one of the most difficult parts of the journey is believing this truth in the middle of silence. When answers do not come quickly, when nothing around you seems to change, and when each day feels like a repeat of the last, the silence can feel heavier than the struggle itself. You begin to wonder if your cries have been lost, if your steps are meaningless, if your effort matters at all. But silence is not absence. Silence is often the space in which unseen work takes place. Seeds grow in silence before they break the soil. Healing often begins in silence before it becomes visible, and transformation often happens in silence before you can even recognize it within yourself. The hardest part of many battles is not the external struggle, but the internal dialogue. The voice inside that tells you you're failing, that nothing will ever change, that you're not enough. That inner critic is loud in times of weakness, and it can drown out every other sound. But the inner critic is not the voice of truth. It is a shadow, a distortion, a product of fear. Truth is quieter but steadier. It reminds you that you are carried, that you are stronger than you think, that you are accompanied, even when you feel invisible. To hear that truth, sometimes you must quiet the noise, take a breath, and remind yourself that your story is not finished. Even when you stumble, even when you fall back into old patterns, even when you feel ashamed of your choices, you are still not alone. Falling is human, but being lifted is divine. Every fall can be met with a hand that steadies you. Every mistake can be woven into the greater design. Every weakness can become a place where you discover strength that was never yours alone. What feels like failure can become the doorway to humility, and humility is the soil in which resilience grows. There are seasons when everything around you feels unstable. Relationships shift, finances tighten, health declines, plans fall apart. When so much collapses at once, it is easy to feel like there is no ground beneath your feet. But there is always ground beneath you. It is not always visible, but it is steady. Like an anchor that holds in deep waters, the presence with you holds fast when the waves crash. You may sway, you may feel the pull of the current, but you are not drifting into nothingness. You are anchored, and anchors are tested in storms, not in calm seas. The exhaustion of long battles often tempts you to isolate yourself, to withdraw from people, to carry everything in silence. But isolation weakens what connection strengthens. You are not weak for needing others. You are not a burden for asking for help. You are not less courageous for admitting that you are struggling. The people who truly love you do not see your pain as inconvenience. They see it as an invitation to walk with you. And sometimes, the very strength you need is hidden in the kindness of another person. Allow yourself to receive it. The battle was never meant to be fought without support, both divine and human. Think of your life as a long journey with hills and valleys. Some parts of the path are smooth and easy, others are steep and rocky. When you are in the valley, the mountain ahead can seem impossible to climb, but valleys are not endless, and mountains are not unconquerable. Every step you take, no matter how small, is progress. Every moment you choose to keep going, even when your legs ache and your heart is tired, is proof of courage. The summit may not be in sight yet, but it exists, and each step brings you closer. One day, the view from that height will show you why the struggle was worth it. Remember that battles are temporary, but the growth they produce is lasting. The struggle you endure today equips you for tomorrow in ways you cannot yet see. Your patience is being stretched, your compassion deepened, your resilience forged. You will come out of this not only stronger for yourself, but also stronger for others. Your story of endurance will be a lantern for those still walking in darkness. What you learn in the fire will one day warm someone else who feels the cold of despair. This is why no battle is wasted, because even pain can be turned into purpose. There will be moments when you feel like you are at the breaking point. In those moments, let yourself remember the times you thought the same before, yet here you are, still alive, still breathing, still pressing on. That history is not meaningless. It is evidence that you have been carried before and you are being carried now. The strength that sustained you yesterday has not vanished today. It remains, steady and present, even when you cannot feel it as strongly. Trust the evidence of your own survival. You can't face this battle alone. God is with you. Let this truth sit in your bones. Let it echo in your heart when fear grows loud. Let it be the sentence you return to when you feel weak. The truth does not change because your feelings shift. Feelings are temporary waves. Truth is the steady ocean beneath them. Hold to that truth as you walk forward, as you rest, as you wait. It will not fail you. You are not alone. You never have been, and you never will be. You can't face this battle alone. God is with you. That truth does not fade with time, nor does it expire when the struggle drags on. It remains steady through every season, through every high and low, through every moment of doubt. And when the journey feels endless, when the darkness seems unbroken, it is this truth that keeps you alive. You are not alone. The battle may roar, but it does not get the final word. The storm may rage, but it cannot erase the presence that walks with you through it all. That presence is unshakable, and because of it, you are unbreakable. Every battle you fight becomes a kind of mirror. It reflects your fears, your doubts, your weaknesses, and also your strength, your resilience, and your hope. The longer you look into that mirror, the more you realize that you are not who you once were. You have changed. You are becoming someone you never thought you could be. More patient, more courageous, more grounded. This transformation is not because the battles disappeared, but because you faced them, endured them, and allowed yourself to be carried through them. That growth is eternal. The storms will pass, but what they leave in you will remain forever. There is a strange beauty in the way time reveals the meaning of our struggles. What seems like chaos now will one day be seen as alignment. What feels like loss will one day be seen as clearing space for something greater. What looks like an ending will one day be understood as the beginning of a new chapter. Perspective changes everything, and though you may not have that perspective now, trust that it will come. The day will arrive when you look back and realize that what once felt unbearable has become the very reason you stand taller, live deeper, and walk freer. The presence of struggle is not the absence of hope. In fact, it is often in the very middle of pain that hope burns brightest. Hope is not denial. It does not pretend that the battle is easy. Hope looks directly at the storm and still says, "This is not forever." Hope whispers to your heart that the night will end, that the morning will come, and that you will see light again. Hope is not fragile. It is resilient. And you carry that resilience because you are not carrying it alone. There will be days when you doubt, days when you question, days when you feel abandoned. Those days do not disqualify you. They do not erase your strength, and they do not silence the truth. You are still accompanied, still seen, still carried. Even in your lowest valley, you are not forgotten. Even in your darkest night, you are not invisible. Even when your hands are empty, your heart is still held. That constancy is what allows you to keep moving forward, even when everything else in you wants to stop. Life's battles are not simply obstacles. They are bridges. Bridges from who you are now to who you are becoming. Each struggle you endure is paving the way for a future you cannot yet imagine. Each moment of pain is shaping a deeper well of strength within you. Each setback is carving out space for a comeback that will be greater than what was lost. You may not see the architecture of it yet, but one day you will. And when you do, you will marvel at how even the hardest parts of your journey were not wasted. Your scars are not signs of shame, they are signs of survival. They tell a story of endurance, of resilience, of faith. They tell the world that you walked through fire and emerged alive. They remind you that you are not fragile, you are not defeated, and you are not defined by the battles alone. You are defined by the way you endured them, and by the presence that carried you through them. Wear those scars with honor. They are proof that you have lived, fought, and overcome. At the end of every battle, there comes a moment of stillness. A moment when the noise quiets, the weight lifts, and the air feels lighter. In that stillness, you will realize that the battle was never the end of your story. It was a chapter, a necessary passage, a path that led you to a new beginning. The battle changed you, yes, but it did not destroy you. It made you stronger, wiser, and more deeply aware of the truth that has always been there. You were never alone, so as you take your next step, carry this with you. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to see the entire path. You don't have to know how everything will unfold. What you need is the steady assurance that no matter what comes, you will not face it in isolation. You are accompanied, you are guided, and you are carried. Let that assurance be the anchor in your storm, the light in your darkness, and the strength in your weakness. You can't face this battle alone. God is with you. Let that be the truth you rise with in the morning, the truth you walk with in the day, and the truth you rest with at night. It is not just a phrase. It is the deepest reality of your life. Hold it, believe it, return to it again and again. Because as long as you live, you will never face a battle alone. You are carried now, you will be carried tomorrow, and you will be carried until the very end. That is the promise that cannot be broken. That is the truth that cannot be erased. And that is the reason you can endure any storm that comes your way. You can't face this battle alone. God is with you. That has been the thread woven through every word, every reflection, every reminder. Now, as this journey of words draws to its end, let it also settle as a truth within your heart. You have walked through the weight of struggle, through the valleys of uncertainty, through the echoes of doubt, and yet here you are, still listening, still breathing, still present. That is proof enough that you have never been abandoned. The strength that carried you to this moment will carry you beyond it. What tried to break you has only shaped you. What tried to silence you has only deepened your voice. And what tried to isolate you has only revealed how closely you are accompanied. The battles of life are not interruptions to the story. They are the story. They are the shaping forces that carve out your resilience, your courage, your compassion. Without them, you would never discover how much strength lives within you, or how much greater strength lives beyond you. The storms, the tears, the nights of silence, they all become part of the fabric that proves you were never meant to stand alone. And each time you remember that truth, you reclaim power over the voices that say you are not enough. You are enough, not because you carry everything on your own, but because you never carry it on your own. Let this be your reminder not just for today, but for tomorrow, for every season ahead. When the battle feels overwhelming, return to the simple truth that steadies everything. You are not walking through it by yourself. You are guided when you are lost. You are lifted when you fall. You are held when you are weak. You are seen when you feel invisible. And you are loved when you feel unworthy. These are not temporary comforts. They are the permanent reality of your life. And so, even as new battles arise, even as new storms come, even as new uncertainties test your heart, you will face them differently than before. Because now you know. You know that presence has always been with you. You know that strength has always sustained you. You know that you were never alone, and you never will be. That knowledge is your armor, your anchor, your unshakable ground. Carry it with you now, as the echo of every word spoken here, as the truth that will not let you go. You can't face this battle alone. God is with you. And because He is, you will rise again, you will keep going, and you will see light after every darkness. This is not the end of your story. It is the continuation of one that has always been guided, always been held, and always been victorious in ways you have yet to see.